The Auburn Tigers dropped their exhibition game against Oklahoma State in overtime. Wild one.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into a special live edition of Locked On Auburn, a post-game edition. Auburn basketball is back. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and Darrell Dapprich joining us live from Birmingham. So pardon the noise. We'll see how loud they are in the arena with the PA and all that. But Darrell, obviously, Auburn falls in overtime, 97-95, but the fight was there. I think there was a lot of high points, a lot of things that clearly can get fixed easily with any sort of attention and now like being able to review tape. But all in all, this seemed like a very talented basketball team that just hasn't played a lot of basketball together.
Yeah, the bottom line is you can tell they haven't really gelled yet. They will. This is a very tough opener, especially an exhibition opener where a lot of other people would play NAIA school or Division II. This did not feel like an exhibition game. Crowd, environment, it felt like a tournament game. I mean, I'm serious. And there was 2,500 people in here, and I went back and I looked at stats, minutes distribution, that kind of thing. Had Oklahoma State not had 3 or 4 guys fouled out, they really played their starters a lot more minutes than Stephen Pearl did. So they wanted to come down here. Auburn's the Final Four team and State. So, I mean, it was a great basketball game. I wouldn't put too much stock into it other than when you play games like this, a magnifying glass, a spotlight gets shown on certain things, and there's plenty of things that Auburn can fix.
Yeah, no question about it. A lot of that's going to be on the defensive side of the ball. And I mean, they didn't shoot it particularly well early. And the fact that it was as close as it was early with how bad Auburn was shooting and how well Oklahoma State was shooting. I don't know. I'm excited about this team. Keyshawn Hall stole the show at times. I mean, we knew he and Tahad would kind of be the 1-2 punch. But goodness gracious, Keyshawn Hall, his ISO game, goodness gracious, there's going to be some guards that just can't cover him.
Yeah, and he did a really good job early on hitting some threes, too, that he was the only one hitting any shots for Auburn. You mentioned the shooting percentage. At the end of the day, Auburn shot in the low 30s. I think Oklahoma State shot in the upper 40s, and that game goes to overtime, and Auburn has a chance to win it or tie it at the buzzer. So I don't think that's going to continue. This is a game, though.
Just real quick, Darrell, 35% shooting from the floor for Auburn, 47 for Oklahoma State. I mean, that's crazy that it went to overtime. It was a 2-point game. That's crazy.
So here's the difference between the team that Auburn had last year and this year's team. Auburn could afford or get away with shooting 35% last year sometimes and still won basketball games because of the way they guarded and the way they defended and the rim protectors they had. And so that's where it's going to be a little bit different. I mean, Auburn's going to have to either learn to take better shots. Another thing, too, Zach, part of that low field goal percentage, I counted Auburn missed like 11 or 12 bunnies around the rim. That really hurts.
Especially early on, it felt like.
Especially early on, and that hurts your field goal percentage. It's not just missing threes, it's missing some shots around the rim. Oklahoma State, very, very physical, very big on the post. Every shot was contested, and they bodied you. That's a good test for Auburn as they get ready to go into their non-conference season and play some bigger opponents.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about it. There's some other names that really stood out to me. We'll get to that in a second. I think a more pressing story here is Keyshawn Murphy. He's going to help a teammate up. He slips. Looks like he kind of extends like his he falls on what appeared to be kind of like some wet floor or whatever, I guess, from a player who fell on there maybe the previous play, and reaches for his the back of his knee almost is what it looked like. And then they took him to the bench and they just kind of kept him there, which seems to be a good sign. You would think if it was super dire, they wouldn't have just kept him out there, is kind of my glass half full way of looking at it. I saw Ferguson posting about this. Justin Ferguson and Nathan King were kind of going back and forth on this on Twitter about how he's been wearing a brace for the bulk of off-season practices. And so maybe it's tied to that, but I'm hoping that him staying out there is a good thing for Keyshawn Murphy's health.
Well, a couple things. For as great as this event is and how they put it on, they got to do something about this floor because people were slipping all over the place. Tahad Pettiford slipped 3 times in the first half.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous, especially in an exhibition game. Secondly, I don't know if I'm not Stephen Pearl and Oklahoma State's coach, if I don't at the end of the regulation just say it's a tie. I don't see any – I get it. It was an exciting atmosphere and all that. But, I mean, the longer you go in a game like this, the more risk you have for an exhibition game. And the third thing is I'm seeing some things on social media and some chats of people trying to project what kind of team Auburn's going to have and how far they're going to go based upon an exhibition game that Stephen Pearl played 12 guys. We need to pump the brakes on that. There's nothing that you can project or try to forecast from this basketball game that has to do with how Auburn will end up because this team still has a lot of gelling to do. So to make an assumption or a prediction like that based upon, and I've seen a lot of it on social media off of an exhibition game, just people need to just chill out, pump the brakes a little bit.
In 2019, when we went to our first Final Four, I was at that exhibition game. There's like nobody in the stadium. It wasn't televised. Nobody heard about it, but like Auburn lost to Barry. It was very bad.
Yes.
And then Auburn went on to be very, very good. So
it was very bad.
So like whatever. And I was going to say that if Auburn, blew Oklahoma State out, I'd be like, this is fun, but like, let's keep in mind, like it's an exhibition game. Still super, super good. I think we learned a lot about this team though. There's Elijah Freeman can be a star here. A lot of talk about the D2 transfer, the upside. We heard good things from practice about him. He can be a star. He can be that third scoring option in games where maybe Kevin Overton can't, get it going from 3 or whatever that might be. I think Elijah Freeman can be a star for Auburn basketball here.
Secondary scoring is a big thing in college basketball. You know what you're going to get from Pettiford and now Keyshawn Hall. If Freeman or Overton or even, off the bench, Philip Jovic off the bench can do – I'm struggling tonight, a little tongue twister, Jokic.
It's been a long day for you.
It has. If Jokic off the bench, one of those guys can emerge. To have secondary scoring is a big thing. And balanced scoring. And I think this team will be very balanced. I think at the end of the day, you're going to see guys coming off the bench, hitting shots. So I think that's a positive as well. Defending, I felt like this team was going to be a team that's going to win a lot of games in the 80s until they start to settle in defensively. But there's still an opportunity to do that. Maybe they're not. Maybe they won't be a team that guards like teams in the past, but just outscores everybody. We'll see. But again, I won't be able to tell from this. But what you can do is use this to kind of work on some things, and that's what I know Stephen Pearl will do.
Yeah, and I think you got to see a lot of situations where you can use his teaching moments, both in real time that happened tonight, and then tomorrow or whenever they go over the film as a team, which I think is great. And I think I agree with you. I thought there might be a chance that they ended at the end of regulation. Especially because Oklahoma State, it seemed like they had a few guys fouling out at that point. But it's also great reps. It's great reps to kind of say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what it looks like. They got a chance to draw up multiple plays that were kind of the end of regulation situations. And I think that's something you can learn as a coaching staff, as players, and all of that. I do want to look at a few of the common concerns that we're seeing both in the live chat and I saw throughout the game on social media. And with our eyes, or at least with my eyes, I want to hear your thoughts on them too, Darrell. Let's tackle that in just a moment right here on the special live edition of Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Supply House. Supply House is super, super important because you have all the parts you need for whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical. Darrell, you deal with this all the time where something goes wrong and you need more parts for whatever it might need. And you need parts quickly so your crew can get on them.
Absolutely. Maintenance has to repair things. If you're down in a company that does manufacturing with machinery, you're down. That's your livelihood. You're making things.
That's right.
So Supply House is clutch for getting that part and getting it quickly to us.
Yeah, real-time inventory and then honest lead times. It keeps you from punting projects, while other industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. So join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and dedicated support lines. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free. Use code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Right now, Darrell, you can bet on the Auburn Tigers, the Auburn basketball Tigers, to win the SEC. They're plus 1,900 to win the SEC regular season. And just throwing it out there for the John Wooden Award winner, we got Tahad Pettiford at plus 4,000, Keyshawn Hall at plus 8,000. That might be worth a look after tonight.
Absolutely, it would. That'd be a definite. You talk about a sleeper. Woo.
Yeah, 100%. So right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. So pick a bet, put $5 down. If it hits, you get $300 to use throughout the app. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. The most common negative or main concern, size. Auburn looked over size defensively. On offensively, it seemed like they were limited at times. We're not going to overreact to an exhibition game one way or the other. But I do think that is worth mentioning because that's something that we've talked about before with the construction of this team is this is going to look different. You don't have Janai Broome anymore. You don't have Dylan Cardwell anymore. I'm curious to see what the development looks like on that front over the course of the season.
Well, and then you've got a concern if Murphy's out for any extended period of time, right? I mean, you really don't start playing good, really deep competition until the second week of November. Jovic is going to have to come off the bench and be that 5. I don't think Opram's ready. He looked very overmatched, to be honest with you, Zach. I think his size and just his experience. So, yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a concern.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to play differently. And you're going to have to try to win games differently. I will say the thing that I was a little bit concerned with, even though I'm not trying to put too much stock in an exhibition game, is you're still keeping score. You're still trying to win. Oklahoma State fouls out 3 dudes, and they look like the better team in overtime. That's a concern. You should be the deeper team, and you should be the one that emerges and looks better in overtime when Oklahoma State's down 3 guys. But that Isaiah Coleman is the real deal for them. And
Oklahoma State's got some guys.
They got some dudes. They're very big. They're very physical. They're very athletic. They were 17 and 18 last year, but I think that they went to the portal, and I think that they're probably going to have a lot better year in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah. Who else stood out to you tonight that we need to talk about that we haven't yet? There's plenty of options.
As far as coming off the bench, I liked Magwood late in the game. He hit a couple of shots late in the game. He had a really, really costly backcourt violation that it was just a freshman mistake, losing where you were on the floor. But I just think the people that we mentioned, if you look at the scoring sheet, it really was 4 or 5 guys. I will say this, watching Overton in person, I can see why people said he's a dog. He plays so hard. He's so physical. He initiates contact. He is a good defender. I think he's going to be a guy, too, that could emerge and just be somebody that Auburn's going to have to count on. Again, your question about the size, though, is a little concerning. But Bruce Pearl has had teams in the past that didn't have size, and they found ways to win. It's just going to be It's just going to be a different blueprint. That's all. Different team.
For sure. Yeah. And that blueprint does require you got to shoot better. You got to shoot better from deep, and I think that'll come with time. And if it doesn't, and it's we're a month into the season, we're having a similar conversation, then it might be bad. But right now, I'm not worried about it.
I'm not either. And this is a real intimate setting. It's a good shooter's gym. It's very much like a high school gym, to be honest with you, a real nice high school gym. And Oklahoma State, they hit the threes that they hit in overtime and even in late regulation where it looked like Auburn was about to take the lead. when Auburn would, and I mean, they were like from way downtown. So they hit big shots, give them credit. Early on, the free throw percentage was very comparable, but early on, I think Auburn left some points on the board with free throws. And, that'll come back to haunt you. But I think they shot like 72% on the night, which isn't bad. At the end of the day, they shot a ton of free throws. I mean, I think Auburn was in the 50s.
Shot 49 free throws.
Yeah, so a lot to look at. Grab that stat sheet, work on it in practice, get ready. I think there's another exhibition before the opener with Bethune-Cookman.
Yep, Memphis. That game's in Atlanta. It's in like 2 weeks. I think it's on the 30th.
That's another game that's going to feel like a tournament game. That's not going to feel like an exhibition game.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like, let's actually learn something.
Yeah, you'll learn a lot. And, I would just, for precautionary, unless he's 100% next week and has a miraculous recovery, I would let Murphy sit until, like I said, the second or third week in November.
Yeah, I think he's important. You need him. And he didn't have a great first half. Then he started like helping you on offense, and then he gets hurt. Like, dang, maybe he was just about to start to get going. And then that timing is not ideal, obviously. So, great, awesome, fun to see Auburn basketball back. Fun to be live after a basketball game with you, my friend.
Yes, it was.
We'll do this. We'll do this all season for sure. So Auburn falls to Oklahoma State 97-95 in their first exhibition game. Darrell, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Follow me on X, DAP6410. I'm with you Wednesdays and Fridays. And still football season. Sunday mornings, our reaction shows as well to Auburn football. And then as we get into basketball, we'll be doing these lives immediately after the games.
That's right. Yeah, the fun time of year where basketball and football overlap. Very busy, but very, very fun. My favorite time of the year. Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.